I want to take one quick second just to acknowledge I got pulled in a little bit just to help support some of the planning of the NET this year. That was a real privilege, and I tried to take it seriously. And I realized how minor my contribution was compared to the amount of work that Dave, the events department, and Josh put into it. And Josh, I can honestly tell you I wouldn't still be in Vector at this point if it weren't for Josh Muller. And one very powerful conversation that I had with him, where he told me that even though I was a struggling manager, that didn't have to define my time with Cutco and Vector, and that led me to really open up what was possible and sort of find my multiple streams of income. I just happened to find it here in the same company. So has anyone here been just drastically impacted by Josh Muller over the years? Let's give a quick round of applause for Josh, just for everything he does. All right, so here's the thing. This was when they first gave me the chance to participate in what should this NET meeting entail? Like what value and what content can we bring? This was the number one thing that I wanted to make sure we had on the agenda. I wasn't really concerned whether I was the one delivering this message, but I feel very, very passionate about this topic. And the reason why is because the story of our division, there's a lot of things that are a big part of it. I mean, obviously the state fairs, that's the great white whale, that sort of drives the program, but we've gone from being a division that was just a state fair division and a very middling program to a division where this last year our traditional events outsold our state fairs. Okay, and that's something we were really, really proud of. And don't get me wrong, I know some of your traditional programs sell more than our traditional program, and that's why we're still trying to model what a lot of y'all do. Like, this is not false humility. We really know we're leaving more out there, more to gain. But when I first stepped in as coordinator, I had 3 goals during my time, because I was an interim coordinator. It was supposed to be 1 year. I had 3 goals, okay? The goal was for us to have $1 million a year. All right, we didn't that first year. Okay, that was it. It was to have $1 million a year. It was to create what would ultimately become our leadership group, which nothing happens in TGP without that. And then the last one was to get into the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. Okay? Now, this rodeo has over 1 million people at it. We had a show in our territory with more than 1 million people at it that we were not in. And so I made that a goal. I was like, man, this could be our state fair of the spring. This is huge. We got to be in this, and I'm the guy to do it. All right? 1 month on the job, and I don't know how to do a chargeback form, but damn it, I'm going to get us in this thing. Tom Rastrelli and John Carpenter and other people failed, where I will succeed because I am magic. All right? Ignorance is bliss, okay? So I went to the stock show. I just kind of went and showed up because that's what I do. My superpower is that I don't require people's approval, and that makes you very empowered. I'm trying to make narcissism charming since 2000 and whenever. So I went to the stock show. And I got there, and I went and introduced myself to sort of the head of the exhibitor that was in the big area. And it was immediately the iciest conversation I'd ever had. And I introduced myself. I was like, hey, my name is Brian Carter. I help oversee events for Cutco Cutlery. We do the state fair. We do a lot of trade shows and events. And, man, we would really love to get a chance to partner with you and be a vendor going forward with the stock show. And she goes, oh, we know Cutco. I was like, is that a good thing? Okay. And so we go through it, and apparently we had a meeting with them. Like, we'd had a meeting with the head of exhibitors, one of the heads of the stock show, and a couple people. John was there, and this meeting went poorly. Okay? This meeting went really, really badly. And I don't know everything that happened. I wasn't there. All I know is they said, you do not fit in with us. We do not have room for you. Oh, and by the way, like, that booth you want, that vendor has been there for 43 years. Our average waiting list right now is 6.5 years if we were willing to let you in, and it's not going to work out. And I went, cool, okay? I had no idea what to do. I was so out of my depth. And I was like, man, I put my cowboy boots on and everything. Damn, all right? So all I knew how to do was just, build a rapport and try to make her laugh. And I said, hey, I totally understand. I wasn't part of that meeting, but I've been with Cutco for a long time, and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm hearing you, and I'm so sorry that we didn't treat this event or treat you or treat that opportunity with the respect that we should have. That's for sure. And I totally understand, but I'm really looking forward to submitting our application this year, and I'm really looking forward to eventually being a part of this. And she goes, you're welcome to submit, but I wouldn't bother. And I said, hey, don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it, because I'm here anyway. I'm here to enjoy your great show. And you know where I'm going to be this time next year? You know what I'm most excited about? And this lady looks at me, she goes, what? And I was like, right here talking to you again. And she just kind of, and I broke her. She did crack a smile then. And I was like, and you know where I'm going to be the year after that? And she goes, oh, God. I was like, right here talking to you. And you know where I'm going to be the year after that? She goes, right here talking to me. I was like, right here talking to you. It's so great, okay? And I said, look, here's the deal. I said, we're not entitled. I go, we're not entitled, but I'm going to try and show you with our actions and our communication. I'm going to try and earn the right to even have the option to be considered. Okay, that's all I'm asking for. I'm going to try to earn the right to have the option to even be considered to partner up with you guys because we think what you do is great and we really think we could serve your guests at a very, very high level. And so she kind of shrugs and goes, send an application in. Okay? And we did. And ultimately, it took us about 3 years to get in there. And by the way, we had to totally side door our way in there. And you better believe I was there next year. Okay? I was there, and she's like, you're back. I was like, I'm back. It's great to be memorable for weird stuff. So, guys, I have a million stories I could tell, but the system to this matters. And so I tried to bang this out into a handout form. Any handout that has more than 5 points is immediately useless. I remember my first conference I went to, and they said 34 keys to a successful demo, and I like stabbed myself in the leg. Okay? But I didn't know how to get this down any shorter than this. So a couple of things. I tried to give you this here so you wouldn't have to take a lot of notes because I'm not a great note taker myself. But I do need you to jot down 2 things at the top. If you are really going to embrace this, if you're really going to elevate your program by expanding the amount and the quality of events that you are going to do, you have to make 2 decisions. There are 2 decisions that you must make or nothing I'm going to say works and you may as well go hit Starbucks. Bring me back some too. Okay? 2 decisions you have to make. Number 1, there are quality events in our territory that we are not currently working. The first decision you have to make, there are quality events in our territory we are not currently working. And I can't tell you how many times I've had coordinators, and I've had managers, and I've had team members say, now man, we're doing all the good shows. By the way, we're great salespeople and we can sell ourselves on anything. And in Texoma, we sold ourselves when we were doing 35 events a year that we were doing all the events that mattered. And you're welcome to laugh at us. Again, that's why I'm confident for what we have because I know where we came from. We sold ourselves that we were maximizing our opportunity. I remember doing state fair planning for that year, 2014, and Josh said, hey man, how are we going to get these booths together if we have a chance at a 3rd booth at the State Fair of Texas? And I was like, we'll make it work. We had a plan to buy a new booth. We got it done. I had to totally go to the bank of John Carpenter, but we made it work. And he said, but how are you going to work other shows around the fair? And I said, man, we don't really have any good shows around the fair. No one wants to compete with the state fair. Why would they? It's like the largest attended thing ever. No one competes with the state fair. We don't have the team to staff them anyway, so it doesn't really matter if we have supplies for other shows. And Josh said, is that a fact or is that an assumption? And I was like, it's a factish. I had 0 data to back any of this up, just so you know. Ask Carlton Thompson, who had a $10,000 day at a Fair of the Heart, another show we're about to talk about that ran over the second week or the last weekend of the State Fair of Texas. Ask Carlton Thompson and his $5,000 in the income he made that day if we have other shows that overlap the State Fair of Texas that we jolly well better be in. For real, Carlton's the truth, okay? Guys, you have to make the decision. There are shows out there you are not in, you need to be in. And I don't want to hear anyone tell me there's not. We have a marketplace we do, and we give them like $48 and a pat on the back every year, and we sell $150,000 at this thing, okay? And it's crazy, and it shouldn't work the way it does, but man, it does. Canton Trade Days, it's ridiculous. 100,000 people go to this thing, and hot, cold, New Year's, snow, they don't care. They just make us come at 8 a.m. an hour away from Dallas. All right? It's inconvenient, and we love it because profitability-wise, it's about the best thing we do. I was talking to another coordinator, and they said, yeah, man, you just got lucky. There's nothing like that in my territory. And I literally Googled the name of the city he lives in, Trade Days. And I showed him one that had 42,000 people who go to it. And I was like, great, maybe you'll only sell 60 grand instead of 100 and something grand. And he goes, yeah, but it's really far from the city. I'm like, they all are. They just buy cheap land. Okay? They plant their flag, and they're like, we're now a store. Once a month. Okay? You have to make the decision, guys, and if in the second any of y'all just mentally goes, no, man, we got this. You don't understand our program. We're maxing this out. You are fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself, and your lack of humility is going to limit the opportunity of your team, all right? First decision. There are shows out there. You're not working. You need to be working. Here's the second decision, and here's the good news. There's a way to get in every single one of them. Every single one of them. There's not a show out there. There's not a golf tournament. There's not a real estate thing. There is not a marketplace. There's not an auto show. There's not a state fair. There's not a rodeo. There's not a big get-together at Mrs. Jones' house in her big-ass mansion in Colleyville, Texas, that there's not a way to get in there. There's a way to get in every single show, but you have to get serious about creating a strategy for how you're going to do it. And what's been powerful for us with the rodeo just became a metaphor for me. The same principles that we were applying with building relationships, quality follow-up, planned communication, we started applying these to other events. And what's great is that our team started to pick up on those disciplines. And so most of these great shows we've added, they're not because of me. Like, the best thing I did was had a vision to get us in the rodeo, and then Carlton got us in a Fair of the Heart, and Calvin got us in the Dallas Safari Club. And this is the stuff, though, that you have to lead as a team leader. You have to lead by example and set the path for the rest of your team. Let's go through this, okay? Step number 1, maintain a hit list. Guys, your hit list is how you create systems. If you don't know how to create a hit list, I know we call this getting into challenging events. Maybe it's just getting into events. If you're not familiar with Jason Jeffrey's max out exercise, you've got to do that. You've got to sit down with your team and you go through and say, if we did every show that we could reasonably be in, what would that look like? Okay? I took some very motivated trainees we had after an events training a while back. One of my big focuses this year is on having better retention of people we train. I'm really excited for Dante's message next because of that very topic. It's one of my strategic goals for this year. Okay? But I sat down because there just weren't a lot of events for them to work. And I sat down with 2 new reps and I showed them how to search for events, basic things we're looking for, okay? Showed them our divisional calendar so they knew what we weren't in. And in 2 hours, and by the way, guys, I don't have 2 hours to spend with 2 reps that are a combined total of, $51,000 in sales, but it's my job and it matters. We found 78 shows that we were not currently in with just 2 scrubs and 2 hours of time. Man, it's work, but if you do the work, they're out there. Okay? Scour the internet, Google, websites for venues. We just started going to all of Dallas Market Hall. We just started going through their calendar and going, man, what's the gluten-free expo? I bet we should be there. It's okay. Not everything's gold. All right? Event Crazy. There's a lot of websites that have this sort of thing, but another big thing is get to know other promoters. Underline that. Other promoters and utilize social media. So here's the thing I did. I did a post on just my Facebook page, and I said, hey, everyone in Fort Worth, Miriam and I want to do some fun stuff. What are some fun stuff you guys do on the weekends that maybe we should go check out? And then I gave some examples. We were at the Fort Worth Home and Garden Show, and we went out to this hunting show in Fort Worth that was super fun. We had a good time. We're just looking for ways to kill some time. Okay? Did that same post for cities in Oklahoma. I picked up 12 shows that way, just so you know. It's just a simple thing. I didn't even do it under the auspice of Cutco. I just did it within my own personal network and relationships. With me on that? The best thing we ever did, we found a promoter that's in most of the shows that we're in, so it's a very parallel thing. We built a great relationship. We gave them some Cutco, and then we shared our Google Calendar with them and got them to share their Google Calendar with us. And we said, we'll open the doors, man. Hey, we'll show you stats. I'll tell you what we sold at them. I don't care. Doesn't hurt me. Doesn't cost me $1 to give you information. I'll share every single thing we have if you'll do the same. And this lady of a very high level of influence goes, deal, deal, deal. If there's people there buying $2,000 sets of knives, we sure as heck want to be there. And I was like, let's go, let's go. It was amazing, guys. I can't tell you how many quality events we're in just from that one exercise, that one, cohesion. It wasn't fighting against things. Because sometimes promoters, if you've ever kind of butted heads with other vendors or even promoters, try to find that path of least resistance. Flow like water, baby. Flow like water. Maintaining your hit list creates systems, and you should hold yourself accountable. Your DVM should hold you accountable as a coordinator, by the way. Okay, sometimes I feel like I step into these spaces, and I am grateful that y'all let me step into the CSP realm because I think y'all are the most competent and powerful group of entrepreneurs in Vector. And I love management. I'm a manager. It's how I identify, but I'm grateful y'all let me step into this space. But I will tell you that sometimes I think I step in and I'm like manager guy, and I got to tell you guys, businesses have structure and hierarchy for a reason. You should open yourself up to the positive accountability of your DVMs. And if you don't have that relationship with your DVM, great. Let's work on that first. Okay? But your DVM should be able to hold you accountable and say, hey, man, what are the next couple things we should be in that we're not? That's such a powerful question to help keep stimulating your thoughts and hold you accountable. And by the way, if you don't have that in your DVM, you should do that for each other. Number 2, FaceTime is key. McKinney Trade Days is this weird thing we do. It costs us $100 a month. We put new people in it, and we've sold about $100,000 in the last couple years doing it. Okay? It's basically impossible to lose money. Our vets don't love working it, but that's okay because it's a great place for new people to cut their teeth. I went to McKinney, and they had a waiting list that was 70 vendors long. all right? But I just chilled with the guy. He's this weird old albino dude, all right? I don't know why that matters. I just wanted to paint the picture for you. A bald knife guy and an albino dude walk into a shed. I don't even know where this is going, all right? All I know is it made us a lot of money, all right? FaceTime is key. The Dallas Safari Club. We just finished the Dallas Safari Club. This is a show we did back in the day, but we were not invited back. We didn't really know why. I can look back at pictures of our display. Well, now we know why, okay? Thank you, Danny, DPZ, for the win, making us real, making us professional, okay? But the Safari Club had been a closed door for us, and so Calvin Lopez went and sat down with them. Their waiting list, because guys, this is a national event that happens to be in Dallas, their waiting list was 478 vendors long. 478 vendors long. We got in that year, okay? But again, we had to be positively and professionally persistent. Positively and professionally persistent. Guys, go to the events, learn about them firsthand. This is important. They're going to be busy, and they're not in a headspace to engage with you. Like, when you go, when the event is going, like, they're not there to talk to you. They're there to execute a really great event, but it's still good to introduce yourself. Compliment them on the great event that they're doing, and plant seeds for follow-up. Schedule an appointment either on the spot or at least get their contact info, and then immediately, within 24 hours, send them an email, leave them a voicemail that says, I appreciate that little bit of time you gave me today. Man, I know how busy you are. Seeing what a great event that was, I can see why so many people want to be a part of it. I'd love to tell you a little more about what we do with Cutco, the type of customers we work with. I think there could be a really great synergy, and I think your guests would really, really enjoy us, and I think we could bring some of our great customers to your great event. There you go. Listen to the recording and send that email out. Number 3, find out what they're looking for in vendors. Okay, we were in Canton, but we were in the ghetto part of Canton. Y'all know some shows have like a ghetto part. It's like the back row. You're in the boat show, but they're like, you're in the alcove. I'm like, what is that? And they're like, it's where no one goes. I was like, oh, hooray. Yay. Okay. We had to find out why. Sometimes it's not just why you're not getting in the show, but it's why you're not getting what you want from the show. Okay, because those are two different things. Getting in the show and getting what you want from the show, two very different things. With Canton, they kept telling us, they kept giving these excuses, and to get into the right space, I literally worked with this lady. I worked on Martha Jane for 2 years. 2 years, guys. This is a process, man, but I knew it was going to be worth it. 2 years I nursed this relationship, and I just kept going to check back in. And she goes, hey, Brian, it's good to see you. And I was like, hey, Martha Jane, I just wanted to come and say hi. Things are going great. I wanted to see if we needed to renew our application. I know you got a big waiting list, but you know we're excited to be on the top. I wanted to see if I can give you some updated photos for some of the improvements we made with our display. Okay? And when I said that, by the way, for the first time in a year and a half, a light bulb went off with her. And she goes, like, what have you done? And I was like, damn it. Damn it. For a year and a half, tablecloths were keeping us out of this. Tablecloths. That was it. She didn't like that we had tablecloths. She said, it's too corporate. Look around. No one else has that. You don't match. You don't blend in. Tablecloths. Oh my gosh. We could have given DPZ $4,000 and had an extra $150,000 in sales the year before because of tablecloths. But guys, it's like customers. They don't always tell you the real objection. That's on you, man. That's on you. And until you're willing to build relationships and spend a little time with people, you're never going to find out what they are. The Art Fest, okay? There's an Art Fest in Tulsa, Oklahoma that has 700,000 people. And they're like, you're not welcome. And Rob Steiner was like, want to bet? Okay? But he just kept going and working that relationship until he got in there. Identify pain points and show them how Cutco can solve them. The Chi Omega Christmas Show has been another one of our great white whales. That's been on the list forever. Tom tried to get in it. John tried to get in it. We took people who were literally part of Chi Omega to get us in it. We could not get in this thing, okay? And so I finally got contact to them. I started talking to some of my customers, and I said, hey, I literally did this at the State Fair of Texas and our Dallas service events. I just started working in with my really good past customers. And I just asked them, I said, hey, do you guys go on any Christmas shows? Like, do you do any fun holiday shows that maybe we should be in? I started asking them, like, why not? Hell, attach it to a content email. What's it hurt you? Hey, if you can, we're gonna do a drawing for people that can recommend awesome places that you want to see Cutco. Make it fun. Do something cool like that. And so one of my customers was like, yeah, actually, I work with a lady that has a booth there. And I was like, oh, it's about to go down, okay? And so she goes, hey, she was going to buy a petite Santoku. That is it. And I said, you know what, Kim? Your money is no good with me, okay? This one's on me. I was like, this one's on me, girl. All I want is a quality introduction. Will you introduce me through your friend to the person that actually just handles who the bookings are? If you will just introduce me, that's it. Just a joint text, give her a heads up who I am, and just let her know I'm someone at least worth talking to. okay? If you could do that for me, your money's no good. Let me buy this knife for you. Guys, that got us in the show. But you know what we had to do? When I talked to her, she was like, yeah, y'all have applied before. We just didn't think you were a great fit. I started talking about junior league shows we do and all these other things. And she's like, okay, well, maybe next year. We're already booked up. We have a big waiting list. And I said, I tell you what, I know people drop out. It happens. I said, you call me the day of the show, and we will be there, and we will blow you away. We will blow you away. You make yourself useful. You know what she did? She called at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm setting up a junior league show in Tyler, Texas, and said, if you can get here in 2 hours, you're in. I am 2.5 hours from Dallas, FYI. So I immediately called Calvin Lopez, and I was like, where are you? He's like, a service event. I was like, apologize to your customers for me because you got to go get a booth. And he didn't even say anything. He's like, done. It's just like a sea of trimmers flying behind him, okay? And I was like, you get this thing set up, you're working it, all right? We sold $20,000 at this event. But guys, we became a resource to this promoter. We solved a problem for them. They have jobs to do just like we do. Empathize, take a beat, just take a beat. Sometimes we see them as the obstacle keeping us from what we want instead of understanding they're just doing their job to the best of their ability. There's a knowledge gap. There's an experience gap. They don't know how professional we are. They don't know how much customers love us. They don't know how much they're going to love us. You follow me on that? That's a knowledge gap. Don't get bitter because they don't have experience to make the decision you wanted them to make. Work the relationship until you earn that right. The professionalism of our local team, the marketing that we do, the listing on Cutco.com. You guys know all the events are on Cutco.com. All the events. Are you telling your promoters, hey, we're part of a $250 million business here, okay? But the reality is we're local. I live down the street with my wife and 2 kids, okay? So I pay for all this stuff, but because we're partnered with such a great American-made company, it's all on there. We're going to blast this out to everybody. Every customer that wants to know, man, how should I get Cutco? Because we're not sold in stores. They go to Cutco.com, and one of the things they're going to see is that we're in your great event. I want to get you on that page, and I want to be here to partner with you. Coffee's for closers. That just happened. Guys, give them free Cutco. Hook their staff up. All right, number 5, make yourself useful. I think we just talked about that. They have a role like everyone else. Join associations. I told Calvin, I told everyone on our team, whoever works Dallas Safari Club has to join for the year. It's $100. I said, just add it to your charge. It's $100. If you're not gonna join it, you don't get to work it. So far, one of the comments they did afterwards, they're like, wow, it's so cool that we've been getting new members from y'all. Because they put like who connected them to it. And so all our guys that work it are just like, Cutco told me I needed to be a part of this. And like, wow, we've literally had people coming up signing up. And I'm like, I know, they work for me. We partner. No one works for me. I work for them. Guys, the Junior League, we donate to their auctions. You may or may not know this. Junior Leagues are really, really hard to get in, and they're the exact shows you want to be in. They're around the holidays. They're amazing shows. But there's a few things we figured out. Junior Leagues, even if you get in, they tend to cycle all their vendors out about every 3 to 4 years. They want to keep it fresh. It's terrible. It's awful. So we decided we need to get in front of that. We started donating to their auction every year. I'm so excited for the product pack that the events department's giving us. Guys, have you seen the swag we can get for like $100? If you don't want yours, send it to me. Okay? Guys, like that galley set, I've already got my eye on it. That's going to the Junior League in Oklahoma City. Like, it's perfect, man, because that's going to make sure we're there because we got kicked out of one of our junior leagues that does almost $20,000 a year. And we're like, what happened? And they're like, no, we're just keeping it fresh. We love you guys. And I'm like, you don't love us enough. Okay? And I was like, look, I have a $1,000 set of Cutco I was going to donate to the auction. Did the auction person not tell you? She goes, the auction person didn't tell me. And I'm like, oh, my God, they didn't tell you? And she's like, they didn't tell me. I did not have $1,000 for Cutco. Okay, my next call was quickly to the auction person that handles that, and I was like, did you not get my message? She's like, I didn't get your message. Oh my God, I feel terrible. I totally would have told them, you guys are donating. And I was like, we're donating. We got back in. We got kicked out, and we got back in. Guys, but you have to decide it matters. You have to decide that your business is, as a coordinator, because as reps, y'all don't ever let anything happen to you. You're driving the ship. Even if something goes bad, you know from Matt Foss and Deanna and all the people you've heard from at this conference, you know you're in control. You have to take control as a coordinator. But it's tough, and it's tough as a leader. Even if you're not a coordinator, you're in here because you're a leader. It's tough because it feels like we don't have as much control. But the best way you can exert your control is with a plan of action and good relationships and good communication. Consider sponsorships. The joke on our team, like my motto, is throw money at the problem. There's a problem, throw money at the problem. And sometimes people are like, money won't solve every problem. And I'm like, or, counterpoint, you didn't throw enough money at it. Okay? There's that Wolf of Wall Street where he's like throwing all the money off the boat. Stephen Decker like put my face over that. Okay, so anytime there's something about throwing money at the problem, he posts that. I feel so loved. It's better than a trophy. Guys, consider sponsorships. Josh Mueller has opened so many doors for us with the State Fair of Texas by negotiating a sponsorship. He's opened so many doors, and we've taken that same route with several other of our big things. Guys, sponsorships are expensive, they're unruly, but if you want to do the ultimate throwdown with a vendor of like, I am here for the long term, I want to partner with your organization, we're going to be here for the next 100 years, it's going to be amazing. You're going to grow, we're going to grow, and we can't wait to serve your guests for so long to come. Let's talk about what that would look like. By the way, year 2 of the rodeo, they approved us for a $20,000 sponsorship, and I was scared as hell because we were not the big, healthy program we are now. We were small. I didn't know how we were going to do it, and so as I was leaving to drive there, I got a call from them, and they said, yeah, the head of the rodeo just said, no, he's not going to do it. I was like, I have the contract, literally. We're giving you $20,000. He goes, yeah, man, he just doesn't want you. And so my DVM is there, like waiting. Everyone's waiting. I'm about to leave there. And I walk back in, just tail between my legs. And they're like, what happened? Like, aren't you heading out? And I was like, next year, baby. Next year. I'm going to re-rack this thing. And guys, it hurt my pride and it hurt my ego. The team was counting on that. And I did not come through. I disappointed myself. I didn't disappoint them, but I disappointed myself. But I had to not get in my head. I had to not have a negative emotional experience drive my actions. I had to say, okay, next up. What's the next solution? What's the next solution? Paint a picture of long-term stability and partnerships. Carlton Thompson has done such a good job at Affair of the Heart. They decided to create some new shows, and he's done such a good job of building that relationship that they called us, and they're like, hey, you know, for people that pay on time. By the way, do y'all know from a negotiating standpoint that Cutco pays for everything up front immediately is a huge negotiating tool? And I didn't know that for years. I did not know that. Like, these promoters, they burn calories chasing after their money. And so the fact that Dave Bush and Deb and Eileen and Kim and all of them are just like, cha-cha, there's that card. Promoters love us. If you're not leveraging that as a selling point for why you should be there, you really, really should. Carlton's done such a great job that when they had these, they said, hey, for people who are paying for the whole year all at once, you know, we want to offer you just a complimentary booth at this one. What? You want to just let me step into this space with all your money people and sell some blades? Let's go. Are you kidding me? Guys, that's a testament to the relationships. And like Carlton never gives himself enough credit. We have sold $85,000 at Affair of the Heart shows, and that CPO does not come except for him. That is him magnifying his influence all across the team. Maintenance. Because the junior league show that we had been kicked out of because of all that stuff, I made a point while I was at the show, before I even went, I had gone to John Israel and I said, hey man, let me buy a couple copies of your book. Okay, got him to sign it. I took some Cutco, I got gift bags, and I did a thank you card. And I'm not good at writing thank you cards. That's Kelly's job. She's amazing at it. She writes the best thank you cards ever. Well, her and John Israel. Okay, they write the best thank you cards ever. Mine are like, thanks for stuff and things. Love Brian. Okay. ADVM divisional coordinators, whatever. No. All right. They're so good at it, but I wrote these thank you cards, and they died. They were so excited by it. And it was such an easy thing. Guys, it cost me $11 a piece and just burning a few calories. That's it. But I just haven't been proactive. I hadn't created a system. I didn't have a system of communication. Okay? Anytime you speak with them, and this is something I learned from Josh, and any important communication, by the way, apply this to your DVMs too. That'll probably come up later. Anytime you speak with any promoters, you should always establish when's the next time you'll talk to them. Even if it's at the show. Hey, I can't wait to see you at the show. All right? And again, we don't do that for 260 events a year, but for our high-dollar events, our key events, our top 50 events, you better believe we do. All right, the last thing, be persistent but patient and think long-term. Guys, take these steps to not just get in the show, but get a better booth location, get a second booth. By the way, next year at the NET meeting, we'll be talking about multiple booths at shows. That's a big thing we need. In fact, I think that's going to come up this year. Okay? My last thing I just want to share with y'all, for shows that we got the Heisman, I mean shows that were just like, hey, we don't want you, Cutco's stupid, your face is ugly, and your God is a lie. It's like, wow, that seems so unnecessary. Mrs. Jones? Okay, just from shows that have hardcore given us the Heisman. Guys, at this point, we have sold, just with what we've been sold at the rodeo this year, we've done almost $400,000 at the rodeo. We've done over $100,000 in junior leagues. We've done almost $200,000 at Canton. We have done almost $100,000 at Affair of the Heart, $20,000 at Chi Omega, $50,000 at Dallas Safari Club, $15,000 at the Wildflower, $20,000 at the Galleria, hundreds of thousands of dollars getting multiple booths at state fairs because of sponsorships, over $100,000 at McKinney Trade Days for, again, just a pat on the back, a compliment, like we could barter with a chicken and they'll let us in. Guys, the opportunity is out there and it's for real. Let's take advantage of it. Thank you very much.